Ethan Hawley had not planned to land on the dead moon. His ship was damaged after a small jump error, nothing big. Just enough to force an emergency landing on a quiet, gray rock far from any trade route. The moon had no name, only a number in old. Star charts, no signals, no life. No reason to be there. That was what made it safe. Ethan stepped out of his ship in a basic survival suit. The ground was hard and cold under his boots. The sky above was dark, with a distant blue star hanging, like a silent eye. His scanner showed weak energy readings underground. That's strange, he said to himself. Dead moons did not give off power. Curiosity had always been Ethan's weakness. It was the reason he became an explorer. It was also the reason he was still alive after 10 years in deep space. He followed the signal toward a rocky ridge and found a narrow opening hidden behind broken stone. The entrance led down. He activated his suit light and moved slowly into the tunnel. The walls were smooth, not natural. Someone had built this place long ago. The air was thin but breathable. His scanner beeped again, louder now. The tunnel opened into a large underground chamber. Ethan stopped. In the center of the chamber stood eggs, not small ones, not fragile ones. They were tall, almost as tall as Ethan himself. Their shells were smooth and pale, with soft glowing lines running across them like veins of light. There were 7 of them, standing upright in a wide circle. They were warm. That's not possible, Ethan whispered. Eggs meant children, infants, new life. But his scanner showed something impossible. The life signs inside the eggs were fully developed. Bones, muscles, strong hearts, complex brains. These aren't embryos, Ethan said quietly. They're adults. A chill ran through him that had nothing to do with the cold moon. Ethan walked closer, slow and careful. The glow inside the eggs pulsed gently, like a calm breath. This place was not abandoned. It was waiting. His translator picked up faint sound vibrations. Not words, not yet. More like a deep hum, steady and alive. Suddenly, one of the eggs cracked. Thin line appeared on the shell, spreading like lightning. Ethan stepped back and raised his hand, unsure whether to run or stay. The crack grew wider. Light spilled out. The shell broke open with a soft, echoing sound. From inside, a tall alien female stepped forward. She was clearly not human. Her skin was smooth and light blue, her eyes large and silver, filled with confusion rather than fear. Strange markings glowed faintly along her arms and neck. She was unclothed, but there was nothing threatening about her. Only vulnerability. She looked at Ethan. Directly at him, before he could speak. His translator activated. Awakened, she said in a calm but unsteady voice. Presence detected. Ethan's heart pounded. She spoke again. Are you the one who stands first? Ethan swallowed. My name is Ethan. I didn't mean to. Another crack echoed through the chamber, then another. The other eggs began to open. One by one, 6 more alien females stepped out. Each looked different in small ways, but all shared the same calm. Power beneath their confusion. They stood close together, then slowly turned toward Ethan as if drawn by gravity. 7 pairs of glowing eyes focused on one. Human. Ethan raised both hands slowly to show peace. I'm not here to hurt you, he said. I didn't even know this place existed. The first female stepped closer. Her movements were careful, as if she had never walked before. Our record said none would come, she said. The chamber was sealed. Ethan glanced around. It was damaged. Time does that. She studied him, her head tilting slightly. Then fate opened it. That word made Ethan uneasy. What are you? He asked gently. She answered without hesitation. We are the Curry, born whole, awakened complete. Ethan frowned. Born like this? Yes, no childhood, no learning cycle. Knowledge is placed within us, But experience, she paused. Experience begins now. Ethan's scanner suddenly screamed. Multiple warp signatures appeared in the system. Ships were coming, not friendly ones. The Kari female seemed to sense the change. Her expression tightened. They have found us, she said. The hunters. Ethan looked from her to the others. 7 powerful beings, just born into a galaxy that wanted them gone. He could leave. He should leave. Instead, he stood his ground. How long until they arrive? He asked. Minutes, she replied. Ethan exhaled slowly and reached for his communicator. Then we don't have much time, he said. And I think you're not supposed to be here alone. The Kari female looked at him again, more closely this time. The first presence, she said softly. The one who stands. Above them, the moon trembled as ships dropped out of warp, and the galaxy took its first step toward a truth it had buried long ago. The underground chamber shook as distant thunder rolled through the stone. Ethan felt it through his boots. The alien ships had arrived. He looked up at the ceiling, then back at the 7 Kari females standing near the broken eggs. They were calm, but not because they were brave. It was because they did not yet understand. Fear. Listen to me, Ethan said quickly, forcing his voice to stay steady. Ships are coming. They are not friendly. The first Karishi seemed to be the leader without anyone saying it, tilted her head. Your tone shows concern. That suggests danger. Yes, Ethan replied. Big danger. She turned to the others and spoke in a soft musical language Ethan's translator struggled to follow. The others nodded almost at the same time, like they shared one mind. Ethan noticed something strange. They moved like adults, strong and balanced, but their eyes kept wandering, studying everything, the walls, the light, him, like people seeing the world for the first time. You said you were awakened complete, Ethan said. So, what do you know? The Kari female answered honestly. We know history, science, survival patterns, star maps, but we do not know choice. Finn blinked. You don't know how to choose? We know how to decide, she corrected. But not why it feels heavy. That answer hit Ethan harder than he expected. Above them, another rumble shook dust from the ceiling. How many ships? Ethan asked. The Kari female closed her eyes for a moment. 5, war class. Ethan cursed under his breath. 5. Warships meant one thing. Someone very powerful wanted these women. Why are they hunting you? Ethan asked. The chamber lights dimmed slightly, reacting to rising energy. The Kari female's voice became quieter. Our species bonds, she said. Deeply, permanently. Ethan waited. When we awaken, she continued, the first intelligent being we see becomes our anchor, our reference, our bond guide. Ethan's stomach dropped. You mean? He started. You, she finished calmly. You were present. Ethan took a step back. No, that's not. I didn't agree to anything. She did not look offended, only curious. Agreement is not required for instinct, but action defines outcome. That was not comforting. The other Kari female stepped closer, not surrounding Ethan, but staying near him like people standing near a fire in the cold. He noticed their breathing had changed, faster now. They are nervous, he said. They are sensing threat, the leader replied. Their bodies prepare for defense. Ethan looked at them again, really looked. They were not fragile. Their muscles were dense, their posture strong. These were not victims, but they were newborns in every way that mattered. We need to move, Ethan said. This chamber won't protect you. The chamber was designed to hide us until a safe presence arrived, she said. Ethan gave a humorless laugh. Then it failed, because I am definitely not safe enough. Another tremor. This one stronger. A warning flashed on Ethan's visor. Orbital scan detected. They know exactly where you are. Ethan said. The Kari leader stepped closer until she was only a meter away. Her silver eyes met his. Then tell us, she said. What does a human do when hunted? Ethan hesitated. Humans ran. Humans hid. Humans fought dirty when they had to. We survive, he said finally, by thinking faster than our enemies. That seemed to interest her. Ethan opened a side panel on his suit and pulled out a small data pad. He projected a map of the tunnel. System, there's an old mining shaft, he said. Collapsed on the charts, but still usable. It leads away from here and blocks most scans. The Kari females studied the map instantly, their minds absorbing it in seconds. We can move, the leader said. But the bond, forget the bond, Ethan snapped, then softened his tone. For now, focus on staying alive, she nodded slowly. Understood. As they began moving through the tunnel, Ethan noticed something else. They stayed close to him, not because he commanded them, because they trusted him. That scared him more than the ships above. As they reached the shaft, the ground shook violently. A distant explosion echoed. They are landing forces, Ethan said. We're out of time. The Kari females suddenly changed. Their posture shifted. Their eyes glowed brighter. The air around them felt heavy, charged. We were created to protect the bond, one of them said quietly. Ethan turned. Protecting doesn't mean killing. The leader looked at him again, studying his face, his tension, his fear. Then teach us, she said. Show us how humans protect without becoming monsters. Ethan swallowed. No one had ever asked humanity that question before. Above them, metal screamed as enemy drills cut into the moon. Below, 7 newly awakened beings waited for a human answer, and Ethan realized something important. This was no longer about survival. This was about what kind of species humans truly were. The tunnel lights flickered as Ethan led the Kari deeper into the old mining shaft. Behind them, the moon groaned under the weight of alien machines drilling through stone. The hunters were close now. Too close. Ethan stopped near a bend in the tunnel and raised his hand. Wait here. The 7 Kari females stopped at once. Ethan pressed his back to the cold wall and checked his scanner again. Red symbols filled the display. They're using bio-trackers, he muttered. Smart ones. The Kari leader stepped closer. They are tracking us because of us. Yes, Ethan said. And because of me. That made her pause. You are not marked, she said. Your species is free. Ethan let out a dry laugh. Free doesn't mean safe. He activated his suit recorder and pulled up an old galactic database. A forbidden symbol flashed on the screen when he typed in Kari. There it is, he said quietly. The Kari leader leaned closer, reading the data instantly. Species. Status, prohibited reason. Unstable bonding influence verdict. Erasure or CONT. Amid her glowing markings dimmed slightly. They erased us, she said. Not as a question, as a memory. Ethan nodded. The galaxy fears what it can't control. One of the other Kari females spoke for the first time. Our bond does not control, it connects. They don't see it that way, Ethan replied. He scrolled further. Long ago, the Kari had bonded with another species. That species had risen fast. Too fast, united, loyal, unbreakable. The galactic powers had panicked, and when panic ruled, laws followed. They called it protection, Ethan said bitterly. But it was genocide. The Kari leader closed her eyes. We were placed in eggs, she said, hidden, waiting for a presence who would not fear us. Her eyes opened again. You were not meant to come. Ethan shook his head. Doesn't matter, I'm here now. The ground shook again, closer this time. A voice echoed through the tunnel, amplified and cold. Human explorer, the voice said. This is galactic enforcement. Step away from the prohibited life forms. Ethan stepped forward instinctively, placing himself between the voice and the Kari. No, he said simply. Silence followed, then laughter. You are trespassing on sealed ground, the voice continued. Those beings are property of the council. They're not property, Ethan snapped. They're people, the voice hardened. They are weapons. Ethan clenched his fists. So is fire. That doesn't mean you burn the universe. Behind him, the Curry females watched closely. Not just listening to the words, but watching how he stood. How he spoke. The leader stepped beside him. He does not claim us, she said loudly. He shields us. The voice paused. That makes him guilty, it replied. Ethan felt something cold settle in his chest. They're going to kill us all, he said quietly. The Curry leader shook her head. No, they will kill us. You will be spared. Ethan looked at her sharply. That's not happening. You do not understand, she said. Humans are valuable. Ethan smiled without humor. Not to me, he turned to the others. Listen carefully. I don't know how strong you are. I don't know what you can do. Their eyes stayed on him, but I know this, he continued. If you fight only because you are told, you become what they fear. The leader tilted her head. And if we fight to protect? That's a choice, Ethan said. That's freedom. The tunnel ceiling exploded inward. Metal creatures dropped through the smoke. Weapons glowing. The Curry reacted instantly. Energy surged around them. The air hummed with power. Ethan raised his voice. Defensive only. No killing unless you must. The Curry hesitated, just a fraction of a second. Then they moved. Energy barriers formed. Blasts bent away. One Curry. Fimo lifted her hand and crushed a weapon without harming the soldier holding it. Ethan stared. They were strong. Terrifyingly strong, but controlled. The enemy forces fell back. Confused, they are retreating. The leader said. Ethan exhaled slowly. That was when he understood. The galaxy had not feared the Curry because they were violent. The galaxy feared them because, bonded with humans, they could become something better. And the universe was not ready for that, yet. Smoke filled the tunnel. Broken weapons lay scattered across the stone floor, still glowing with fading energy. The enemy soldiers had retreated, but Ethan knew better than to feel safe. Galactic forces never walked away unless they were planning something worse. Ethan lowered his weapon and turned to the Curry. You did well, he said. You held back. The Curry leader looked at her hands, where faint light still shimmered. Restraint required effort, she admitted. Power seeks release. That's what makes restraint matter, Ethan replied. For a moment, no one spoke. The tunnel felt smaller now, heavy with everything that had just happened. One of the Curry females suddenly swayed. Ethan caught her before she fell. Her body was too warm. Her breathing was uneven. She is injured, the leader said quickly. Her energy field fractured when she blocked the blast. Ethan activated his medkit, though he already knew it would be limited. Human tools were not designed for alien biology. I'll do what I can, he said. He worked carefully, sealing burns, stabilizing her breathing. The Curry female looked at him with wide eyes, confusion mixing with pain. Why do you touch gently? She asked weakly. Ethan paused. Because you're hurt. That is inefficient, she said. Maybe, he replied, but it's human. The others watched closely. They were learning. Suddenly, a loud transmission filled the tunnel, clearer than before. Curry entities, the cold voice announced. This is your final warning. Surrender now. The human will be spared. The leader's posture stiffened. They offer you survival, she said to Ethan, in exchange for us. Ethan stood up slowly and faced the direction of the voice. I'm not going anywhere, he said. You will die, the voice replied. Then I die, Ethan answered simply. The words echoed through the tunnel. The Curry leader turned to him sharply. You choose loss. Ethan met her eyes. I choose you having a choice. For the first time, something inside the Kari shifted. Not instinct. Not programming. Choice. The injured Kari female reached out and touched Ethan's arm. Her grip was weak but steady. He stays, she said. The others nodded. Energy flared around them, not wild, not violent, but focused, controlled. The leader stepped forward and spoke loudly, her voice calm and clear. We do not surrender, she said. We are not weapons. We are not property. The tunnel shook violently as heavy machines moved closer. They will breach soon, Ethan said. When they do, we run. Running is not efficient. One Kari said. Ethan smiled faintly. Neither is standing still. They moved fast through the remaining tunnels, guided by Ethan's map and the Kari's instant learning. Behind them, explosions collapsed the passages, slowing pursuit. Then it happened. A blast tore through the side tunnel. The injured Kari screamed as debris struck her. Ethan was thrown hard into the wall. When the dust settled, the injured Kari lay still. Ethan crawled to her, panic rising. Hey, stay with me. Her eyes flickered open. You taught us, she whispered, protection without cruelty. And shook his head. You're going to make it. She smiled faintly. Bond confirmed. Her light dimmed. The Kari leader let out a sound that was not a cry, but something deeper. Something new, grief. She knelt beside the fallen one and placed her hand on her chest. We were created to bond, she said slowly. But we were never taught how. To lose. Ethan stood, his face hard. They crossed the line, he said. The Kari rose with him, eyes glowing brighter than before. Teach us, she said, not how to destroy. She looked at the dark tunnel where the enemy waited. Teach us how humans protect what they love. And in that moment, the Kari were no longer forbidden beings. They were learning to be something else. Something human had never taught the galaxy before. They buried her in silence, not with stone or fire, but with light. The Kari formed a circle in a wide cavern, far from the broken tunnels. They placed the fallen one at the center. Soft energy flowed from their hands, wrapping her body in a calm glow until it faded into nothing, leaving only warmth behind. Ethan stood a short distance away, helmet removed, head lowered. I'm sorry, he said quietly. I didn't know this would happen. The Kari leader turned to him. Her silver eyes were different, now deeper, heavier. Loss was always possible, she said, but feeling it is new. She placed a hand over her chest. It hurts, Ethan nodded. That means she mattered. The Kari were silent for a long moment. Then one of them asked a question no one expected. Does this pain ever go away? Ethan thought carefully before answering. No, he said. But you learn how to carry it. That answer stayed. With them, they moved again, deeper into the moon's hidden caverns. Enemy scans still searched above, but more carefully now. The hunters had learned something fear. As they walked. Ethan noticed the Kari no longer stayed close because of instinct. They spread out, watched corners, protected each other. They were adapting. Your bond is changing, Ethan said to the leader as they paused near a narrow passage. Yes, she replied. At first, it was a pull, a need. Now it feels chosen. That's important, Ethan said. Needing someone can be dangerous. Choosing someone is strength. She studied him. Is that how humans bond? Ethan smiled faintly. Most of the time, when we do it right. A sudden alert flashed on his visor. Multiple hostile signals withdrawing. They're pulling back, Ethan said. That's not good. They regroup, the leader said, and escalate. Exactly. They reached an old observation chamber with a cracked view of space. Through it, Ethan saw the enemy fleet repositioning, forming a wide blockade. They're not trying to capture you anymore, he said grimly. They're trying to contain this entire moon. The Kari leader stepped beside him. They wish to erase evidence. Of you, Ethan said. And of me. She looked at him sharply. You are afraid. Yeah, Ethan admitted. But not of dying. She waited. I'm afraid of failing you. He finished. That seemed to surprise her. Our survival is not your burden, she said. Ethan shook his head. That's where you're wrong. Humans don't bond because we're forced to. We bond because we take responsibility. He turned to face all of them. I won't tell you what to do, he said. You're not weapons. You're not soldiers. But if you choose to stay with me, I'll do everything I can to get you out of this alive. The Kari spoke among themselves, their voices low and fast. Then the leader stepped forward. We choose you, she said, not because you were first, but because you stayed. Something tightened in Ethan's chest. Then we do this together, he said. The enemy fleet fired a warning shot into the moon's surface. The impact shook the cavern violently. They are impatient, one Kari said. Good, Ethan replied. So am I. He opened a hidden channel on his communicator and sent a burst signal into deep space, an old human frequency. Rarely used. A distress call. They'll hear that, the leader said. You're kind. Yeah, Ethan said. And whether they come or not, it matters that we tried. She nodded slowly. Hope, another human trait. The Kari gathered around him, not as dependents, not as followers, but as equals. Above them, the galaxy prepared to erase a mistake from history. Below, a human and 6 forbidden beings stood together, bonded not by instinct, but by choice, and for the first time, the bond felt less like fate, and more like a promise. The first human ship arrived in silence. No dramatic entrance. No warning shots. It slipped out of warp at the edge of the system. Small and unarmed, its transponder broadcasting a civilian code. To the galactic fleet, it looked harmless. To Ethan, watching from the cracked observation window, it looked like hope. They heard you, the Kari leader said softly. Ethan nodded. Or they got curious. More signals followed. 2, 5, Narration vessels, cargo haulers, old military escorts running on half power. Not a fleet meant for war, but a fleet that came anyway. The galactic blockade reacted instantly. This system is under council authority, a voice boomed across all channels. Human vessels withdraw. The human response was calm. Negative, a captain replied. We received a distress call. Ethan let out a slow breath. They came, he whispered. The Kari watched the exchange closely. They risk themselves. For one signal? That's kind of our thing, Ethan said. The council fleet moved into attack formation, weapons charging. The Kari felt it immediately. Space itself seemed to tense. They will fire, one of them said. Yes, Ethan replied. And this is where things get dangerous. A new transmission cut through the noise. This one carried authority. All forces stand down, the voice commanded. This matter is now a public tribunal. A massive council ship moved forward, projecting a system-wide hologram. The image of a circular chamber filled the void. Council members, watching from their seats of power. At the center of the projection stood Ethan. And beside him, the Kari, human Ethan Hale, the lead. Counselor said, You are charged with interference, contamination, and protection of a prohibited species. Ethan stepped forward. I found them abandoned, he said. I protected them. If that's a crime, then charge me. Murmurs spread through the chamber. The Kari are destabilizing, another counselor said. Their bonding creates loyalty beyond control. The Kari leader spoke then, her voice steady. Our bond does not remove will, she said. It reveals it. The counselors ignored her. Humanity is known for emotional attachment, the lead counselor continued. Combined with Kari influence, you become dangerous. Ethan clenched his jaw. You're afraid, he said. Not of them. of what happens when power meets compassion. Silence followed. A human captain broke it. "We do not claim the Kari," she said. "They chose us." The council laughed. "Choice is irrelevant," the lead counselor replied. "Order must be maintained." Ethan looked straight into the projection. "Order without morality is just fear wearing a uniform," he said. Kari leader stepped forward, light glowing softly around her. "We awakened without childhood," she said. "We were complete but empty. This human taught us restraint, loss, responsibility." She turned her gaze to the council. "If this is corruption," she said, "then your laws are flawed." The chamber erupted into debate. The council argued logic, control, stability. Humans argued stories that they showed recordings. Kari shielding wounded enemies, refusing to kill, choosing mercy even when attacked. Evidence the council had never expected. Finally, the lead counselor raised a hand. "Enough," they said. "The galaxy will decide." A system-wide vote began. Ethan felt time slow as symbols flashed across his visor. Approve erasure. Grant asylum. The result locked in. Grant asylum Sion di Tionel. The council spoke again, colder now. "The Kari will live under human supervision." Ethan stiffened. "They don't need supervision." "They will have it," the council replied, "or face erasure." The Kari leader looked at Ethan. "This is not freedom," she said. "No," Ethan agreed. "But it's a start." The transmission ended. The fleets powered down. Human ships moved closer, forming a protective ring. Humanity had been judged. Not innocent, not perfect, but worthy of trust, just enough to change the future. And as the stars settled into uneasy silence, Ethan realized something profound. Humanity had not won by strength. It had won by refusing to abandon what it chose to protect. The Kari did not go quietly. They did not leave the dead moon as prisoners or cargo. They left standing beside humans. Human ships escorted them, not with chains or orders, but with open channels and shared navigation. The council watched closely, waiting for failure. It did not come. Months passed. Ethan stood on the balcony of a human outpost overlooking a blue-green world. Below, Kari walked among humans for the first time. There were no commands or rituals of ownership, only careful steps, shared meals, long conversations. The Kari learned slowly, not how to fight, but how to live. They learned laughter from human children who were not afraid of glowing skin. They learned patience from farmers who waited months for crops. They learned grief from memorials where humans remembered strangers by name. The bond evolved again. It was no longer centered on Ethan alone. It spread. "Your people do not fear." "Connection," the Kari leader said as she joined him on the balcony. Her glow was softer now, calmer. "We do," Ethan replied. "We just decide it's worth the risk." She watched two Kari helping repair a damaged habitat wall alongside human engineers. "Our species was erased because we bonded too deeply," she said. "Yours survives because you choose when to bond. That choice makes all the difference," Ethan said. The council's observers recorded everything. What they saw confused them. The Kari did not dominate humans. Humans did not worship the Kari. They argued, compromised, protected each other. Equal. A report circulated through the galaxy. Human-Kari integration. Stable threat level. Reduced unexpected outcome. Mutual moral reinforcement. The council did not like that phrase. But they could not deny the results. One cycle later, a new law passed quietly. Species may not be judged by potential misuse alone. It was not justice, but it was progress. Ethan never became a hero. He returned to exploration because that was who he was, but the Kari always knew where to find him. Not because they needed him, because they chose him. Before his next departure, the Kari leader placed her hand over her chest. their gesture of trust. "You were our first presence," she said, "but not our owner," Ethan smiled. "Good. I'm terrible at owning anything." She tilted her head, then smiled in her own way. "The galaxy will remember this," she said. Ethan looked up at the stars. "Yeah," he replied. "And maybe it'll be a little less afraid next time." As his ship lifted off, the Kari watched from the ground beside humans, no longer hidden, no longer forbidden. The galaxy had learned something it never expected. Humans were not dangerous because they bonded. They were dangerous because they taught others how to choose compassion and then stood by it. And that, more than any weapon, changed the future.